It's impossible to win games in Madden 26 if you can't ever run the ball. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down 5 tips that will completely transform your run offense here in Madden 26. I just showed all 5 of them to this player, and he ran for 300 yards in his next game. So I know the same thing will happen for you, so long as you don't skip out on any of the tips. Let's jump right into it. First, I want to break down a tip that's going to make it to where you can actually control where your linemen are blocking. Too many of you guys are letting linemen come in completely untouched, and this tip is going to completely fix that. Let me show you. Alright, so we have an inside zone run here, alright, and we are going from right to left just like this. So when we take this snap, we're going to be able to just run right there in that gap. But here's the thing. We're gonna look at the instant replay right here. We're gonna have them in random defense, but look at this. We don't really need to block this guy. I'm gonna be honest. We don't really need to because we're running the other way. It would be much better just let that guy come in completely untouched and then just run away from him. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna press LB, then you're gonna press Y, the untarget defender button, and then you're gonna use the left stick until you find the guy that you want to untarget. You always want it to be a guy on the edge away from where you're running. So if I was flip this play and I was running towards the right side, I wouldn't want to untarget this man. But since I'm running to the left, right now I can untarget him. He comes in untouched, and so you see how he basically just dumbed out because no one blocks him. And again, what that's going to do for your run offense is it's going to allow, you see how it's 85, he blocked his defensive end on the last play? Well, this time he gets up here and blocks his safety at the second level, which really means if I could have gotten through this hole right here, I had a pretty much just a walk-in touchdown. Simply because we don't block this man, and instead we change our block targeting to go get this guy. And again, it has no effect or no negative effect because this guy just stands up, he doesn't do anything because it's so rare and unexpected that he doesn't get touched. Now, what you also need to understand is these flame icons will sometimes randomly appear based on what the defensive alignment is. Like here in this case, you're going to see how they walk their safeties down, so now those safeties have flame icons, which means if they blitz, they'll come in free. So that's not going to be good for you, so that's why certain run defenses, and you see how they just stop us in the backfield. That's why certain run defenses are better than others, but for the most part, when you're playing against these standard looks, you just put the flame icon over the head of this defensive end, and now he comes in untouched. But the key is running away from him, because you see how that time he didn't dumb out. He came straight down, and so I actually had to run towards the left side here. Like if I tried to cut this back, he would have just tackled me. So now I absolutely am kind of just forced to run in that direction and get away from him. So you see how this time he already has the flame icon over him. No one touches him, and so that's going to allow us to rip off this big gain and hopefully score a touchdown on that play, simply because we're not blocking the guys that are away from where we're actually running to. Instead, we're putting all of our focus on the guys that are in the same direction. So again, boom, this guy has a flame icon, he comes in untouched, but it doesn't matter because we're running towards the left side. We get away from that guy, we speed boost, and we're able to turn that into a huge gain. So really, that's the great use case of the untarget defender feature here in the run game. You're going to press LB, Y, and then you're going to select the defender that you want to target. Never have it be a guy where you're actually running, like you would never put it on this guy. Instead, always over the head of the defensive end like this, and you're going to reap the benefits in the run game. Alright, the next thing that's going to absolutely transform your run offense here, and I kind of did it in that first segment, is actually the speed boost. It's going to allow you to turn those 5-yard gains into home run hitting touchdowns because you're actually getting a boost of speed. Let me show you exactly how to do it. Alright, so the first thing I want to break down here is if we come into coaching, we come into the depth chart here. I actually have the gadget at halfback package turned on, so I'm going to get Brian Thomas Jr. at halfback. The reason why is because he has 90 plus speed at 97. The closer to 99, the higher, but 90, but above 90 is exactly the threshold that you kind of need here. So 97 speed, you want to have above 90 agility if you can. Now, Brian Thomas Jr. is 6'3", so his strides are longer naturally, so he just basically has 90 agility, just as if a smaller player did, right? Then he has 90 plus acceleration at 95, and then 90 plus change of direction at 91, so he's going to be the perfect guy to actually speed boost with. And I've used a lot of players here in regs this year, and I believe that he's the best actually booster because it's just that right there. That's just if that's a regular handoff, that's a regular player, there's no way that we're able to score a touchdown just like that easily. how I would recommend you practice the speed boost is really get the timing down in like offense only practice mode. But when you get here with a live defense, you still have to pick your gaps. You see how, I mean, I could run straight forward, right? Like through this kind of gap right here, but then I thought I would get tackled by him. So I just kind of follow my blocks here. Boom, I find the lane. And here's where the speed boost becomes valuable, because I can only go over here. I have to find a way to get over to the sideline before these guys do. And so what I do, I run right up to them, and then I speed boost. Boom, right there. That's the boost. I put my foot on the ground, and then I'm able to cut it up because I dumb out their pursuit angle. You see how if we watch it again right here, he was just going to run down and tackle me. Boom, like just like that. But as soon as I put my foot in the ground to actually boost away, dumbs out his pursuit angle, run around him and score. Really, that's what makes this speed boost so valuable. Now, you're probably yelling at your screen right now, BLT, cool, how do I speed boost? Well, what you're going to do is when you're running, you always, and this is something I'm going to talk about later in the video as well, but you do not want to hold turbo as soon as you snap the ball. You want to wait until you're past the line of scrimmage or your blocks have set up. So boom, I'm going to take the snap, you're turboing, and then you're tapping the left trigger at the same time in order to boost. So really, it's right trigger, the left stick where you're running. Already you're doing that, you're aiming where you're running, and then you're tapping the left trigger or LT or L2. Boom, to get to your spot. Boost, and then boost again. A lot of the time you can double boost, but you have to like change directions in order to do it. I also want you to be careful because you don't always have to speed boost. Sometimes actually boosting and doing it incorrectly can slow you down. You can also chain it up with the spin move like I did right there, especially when it just makes more sense to spin away from a guy versus actually trying to boost away from him. So again, right here, I see my blocks have set up, so I boost, boom, right there, and then I see that guy, so I'm just going to spin him out and turn that into easy yards rather than trying to like speed boost away, because then you're wasting kind of a speed boost when you could just save it for another man. So it's all about just getting a good feel with your controller, chaining moves up. You certainly still have to rely on your blocks, but something else that's really valuable about the spin move when you call inside zone is you can pretty easily just boost out here to the sideline, right? As long as you time up the move. That time that was just a horrible speed boost right there by me. But it's like, if you can time up the move, you can pretty often get to the spot, get out to the edge way faster than the defensive linemen that are trying to, you know, steal the edge. Like right there, boom. And then unfortunately that's a fast linebacker, he makes the play, but I was able to speed boost out to the edge and prevent like Trey Hendrickson from actually being able to make a play on me. So really timing up the move correctly. Again, right trigger, left stick where you're running, and then you're tapping the left trigger always to be able to speed boost. But again, boom, right there, speed boost, spin that guy out and turn that into easy yards. So like I said earlier, you saw me do this in the first segment, you saw me do it on the first run here, where it's like you're able to turn these, you know, 5-yard gains into just home run hitting touchdowns simply by speed boosting away from these defenders, dumbing out their pursuit angles, and turning these into really big runs. Alright, so if you found those first two run offense tips helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these tips in written form, plus my newest defensive ebook here in Madden 26, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, where you're going to get your first month for only $1. All the tips are in written form to save on your phone with videos and screenshots attached so that you can follow along very easily. It's the best way to never have to go surfing through a video while still getting valuable information every single day to help you here on Madden 26. I highly recommend you check it out, and the $1 discount code is expiring very soon, so I highly recommend you join. Let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down a mistake that not enough players realize that they're doing, but it's absolutely killing their run production. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, and that's going to be running to the slow side, alright? And what I mean by this is we have this inside zone run, alright? So what we're going to do, we're going to call the inside zone, boom, and you're going to see how it's a handoff. And I'm able to speed boost. Now again, if their safety walks down, there's nothing you can do about that, really. But what I want you to pay attention to is the speed of the handoff. I'm going to play this, boom. You're going to notice how it's just a regular handoff. Now, this is a replay, so it's slow motion, but if you rewind the video, you're going to notice how this handoff right here, the one that I'm about to do, is going to be a slower handoff animation simply because my quarterback is right-handed. The rule of thumb is if your quarterback is right-handed, you need the handoff to go from right to left. So the running back needs to be on the right side of the quarterback. If you have a left-handed quarterback, it needs to be how it is right now, where you are running from left to right on an inside run. Now, when you're under center, it's totally different, but most runs are shotgun runs anyway. You know, that's the meta offense. So it's like you never would want to do this with Trevor Lawrence, who's right-handed, because this handoff animation is just slower. Now, I'm not telling you could never rip off a big gain if you're, you know, having the slow handoff animation. That's not what I'm saying. But if you watch the first time I called that run, or all the times I've called it in this video, versus that specific run right there, that handoff animation is just going to be slower. How much slower, you'd have to like have a stopwatch and really make that determination for yourself. But when you actually have it on the correct side, so the running back on the right side of the quarterback, and you're going from right to left, you're going to be able to get to these handoffs faster and then be able to speed boost away just like that, simply because it's not a super slow handoff. I actually think it's like a whole second slower. Again, I would have to have an actual stopwatch to see how much slower the handoff animation is, but it's like, I just believe that this is just a whole second slower. Like, I can't even speed boost. I don't even have the ball before I'm being tackled, especially if someone, you know, is walking completely untouched. If someone comes in untouched and you're going from right to left, just like I'm going to do right here, it's like you can still speed boost away. That's where the speed boost becomes valuable. But if you're going the incorrect way because you have a right-handed quarterback and you're going from left to right, it's just you're gonna be cooked. Like, there's gonna be nowhere really for you to go. Again, when you actually have it the correct way and you're able to you're gonna just be able to follow your blocks better because you're getting downhill. You're able to make that. Like, look at that. Like, I wish that happened during this actual second segment for the speed boost. That's a prime example of where you get the handoff fast enough, you're able to pick your gap fast enough, and then you're gonna be able to get downhill and just speed boost. This is what I mean when I say dumb out the pursuit angle of the defender, because you put your foot in the ground, speed boost, and then you're just faster than him for the touchdown. So bottom line here, this is a very simple one. Like, especially like if you're calling the play, make sure you always call it the correct way. But if you're audibling to a different formation, for example, you would just want to make sure that you either flip your play or you have the handoff animation correct. Again, I'm not saying you could never go from left to right with a right-handed quarterback. I'm just saying you're just going to have to realize that the handoff animation is going to be slower, and you're probably not going to pick up more yards on average, simply because, I mean, you just run into your offensive line like that, because I don't have the opportunity to speed boost as early as I would if I did it the correct way. So stop calling handoff animations the wrong way and slowing down your handoff. Alright, before I jump into those final two run offense tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm the only one right now breaking down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. So what are you thinking? Hitting that subscribe button is literally free, so go down below and hit it today. Let's jump right back into the video, though. Because next I want to break down what actually makes a good quarterback recognize when you should run the ball versus call something else. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, and so what I mean by this is you're actually just reading the look that the defense gives you, okay? So a great example of this is a two-play run scheme here. Quarterback zone and inside zone. So you see how inside zone, now again, I have the handoff animation going in the correct direction, right? Right-handed quarterback going from right to left. So I have inside zone, and then I have quarterback zone, right, which goes the other way. So with the quarterback, we're going towards the right. With the running back, if we just follow our blocks, we're going towards the left. So this is what you're reading. You're just reading the look. Right now, they have, let's count. They have the middle linebacker who's kind of just in the middle, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders on this right side. And we have basically 4 blockers. We have our running back, and then we have or if we were going quarterback zone, we would have our running back, and then we would have 3 offensive linemen. So that's -1. So we wouldn't want to call quarterback zone here in this case. Instead, we would read the look and then just decide that we're most likely going to go over here, and it ended up being a good run. So what I'm telling you is a lot of the time, it's just numbers. It's just reading the look. Like right here, this is a more balanced kind of look as far as, you know, where they are. Now, you can honestly introduce a third play where you have an RPO bubble, right, where you're going to throw the ball out here. Actually, that's probably what makes this unstoppable, is you have 3 plays. You have a quarterback zone towards the right, you have an inside zone handoff, and then you have an RPO bubble, where if they give you this look, I would throw the RPO bubble to Jacoby Myers, right? But here in this case, since I don't have that, I'm just going to call the inside run, and it still ends up being like a 5-yard gain, which is still pretty solid. So that's what it is. In the run game, whether it's with this, 2-play scheme here, or it's any run scheme that you have to read the look. If they, load up the box to stop inside zone, I'm not calling it. But pretty often, you're going to be able to rip off these big gains. And again, that's where the speed boost becomes valuable, because I speed boosted away from him to rip off that, last little, touchdown run. Right here, it's like if I really wanted to go with the quarterback, I could, right? I mean, they still have 5 guys on that side. So, I mean, like, I would probably just have to cut it back like that, not carry it all the way out to the edge. So it's like, if you just read the look, you're just going back and forth, and it's just a numbers game. Like right here, I probably am going to go with the quarterback out here, right? And it ended up being the wrong decision. So I would say most of the time, especially if you're like, this is in my Jaguars offense, if you look at these 2 plays, I would say most of the time the inside zone run is going to be your better option, simply because they literally have to stack the box in order to be able to defend that. Like right here, this is probably the most even front that they've had to be able to counter all 3. I'm going to go quarterback again, right? And we're going to see how, we pick up 3 yards. So maybe it would have been better off going with just the inside zone run. This is a surefire quarterback run look. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. You might have to wait 16 plays in a game in order to ever get the look to call the quarterback run. So it's not like you're forcing certain run plays. All you're really doing is deciding, hey, do I have the look? And if I don't have the look, I'm going to something else. So what I'm telling you here in this segment, stay patient, go with your call your plays like this, but if they ever give you the look that you're looking for, that's what you're reading for. Every single time you're calling a run play, you're trying to see, do I have the right look in order to turn this into a big play? So don't just call run plays mindlessly based on, whatever or however you feel like calling them. Actually make sure you're reading the look to make sure that you have the numbers advantage to one side. Like again, this is another quarterback run, and if I call this, I probably would score a touchdown. But that 5th and final run offense tip that I want to break down here in this video is actually going to allow you to score more touchdowns when you're at the goal line and in the red zone, which is really where the games are won and lost. Let me show you exactly the trick that I'm talking about. Alright, so what I'm breaking down here is actually going to be extending the ball when you were at the goal line. Alright, so you can do this whether it's a pass play, a run play, a quarterback run, a halfback run, doesn't matter. As soon as you're getting close to the end zone, and it's a one, like right here, this is a great example of that, where you see how he kind of extended the ball like over his shoulder right there to try to put it over the goal line. That's what I'm breaking down here, because that's the difference. Is a game of inches, right? I'm trying to get this ball over the goal line. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is once a second tackler comes in here to bring him down, the animation is dead. Like it just dies and he just falls to the ground and tucks the ball back in. Right? But if it's anytime it's one-on-one, like if this second defender 22 never came here, I believe Etienne would have scored. He would have eventually gotten that ball over the goal line, but then 22 pushes him down to the ground, which is why if you're on defense, right, you want to make sure that you're getting tackling and rallying to the ball, because again, there's going to be times where it's just like right there, obviously I walk in untouched, but it's like anytime it's a one-on-one situation, you want to make sure that you're extending the ball. Now, all of the tips in this video actually connect, because when you have the ball this close to the end zone, you can speed boost. You can use the untarget user feature, right? I'm going to untarget this man, right? Boom. I'm going to untarget this defender. You can speed boost. I'm not going to run to the slow side, so I'm running to the fast side here. I'm reading the pre-snap look. I'm to say that I'm going to go inside, and then I'm just going to extend the ball over the goal line. So actually, I'm going to use all 5 of the tips here. Boom. And then we score a touchdown. We didn't actually even need to extend the ball right there. But everything I've talked about in this video becomes even more important when you get this close to the end zone. So again, I'm going to untarget the furthest guy away from where I'm running. I'm going to hike this ball, and I'm going to extend that ball, although I probably could have scored either way. So it's like, that's what I'm talking about when I give you guys these tip breakdowns, because it's like everything actually connects back to each other, and when you actually implement all 5 of them on every single run play, it's just going to be so much easier for you to actually rip off consistent yards. Speed boost, get to my spot, score an easy touchdown. If we were 15 yards back, we might have still scored on that play. But it's like here with this one specifically, if it's a one-on-one tackling situation, you need to make sure you're holding the right stick up to try to extend the ball over the goal line so that you're not constantly getting stopped at the 1 yard line. because that's really where, like right there, where it's like I extended the ball, now eventually that second defender came in to kind of push me back, you know, down to the ground. But really, once you get into these one-on-one tackling situations, you start extending the ball, I guarantee you're going to stop getting stopped at the 1 yard line as much, and you're going to just score way more touchdowns because of it. Right there, again, if the second tackler comes in, that's why it's important to gang tackle. But start using this feature when, especially you're in the red zone, when it becomes even more important for you to punch the ball in from the 1 yard line. Alright, so if you found any of those 5 run offense tips helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day that no one else is teaching you guys right now. And I mean, I'm really the best channel to take information from. So what are you thinking? Hit that subscribe button. But if you want all 5 of these tips to save on your phone during gameplay so you never have to go surfing through a video, and you want my newest defensive ebook, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, where your first month is only going to be $1. Please, don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling to win games here in Madden 26, and I will warn you, the discount code is expiring within the next 48 hours to get your first month for $1. So please hurry, join the program. You're not going to want to miss out on anything that's in it. But if you want to see my full offensive ebook here in Madden 26, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.